This is also a time of change for my family. Catherine, she became Queen Consort. In recognition of her own loyal public service.
No one who was there in the Great Hall was able to comprehend the reason behind the placement of a second crown next to the throne. Not even the senior members of the royal family, who were sitting just a few feet away, not even the staff of the palace, nor even the constitutional experts could be found. Nevertheless, King Charles was completely aware of what he was doing. He rose to his feet, moving more slowly than anyone had ever seen him, before reached for that crown, turned to Catherine, and placed it on her shoulders for all time. All eyes in the room were focused on him with attention. At that same instant, every single individual in the room was rendered completely silent. Neither the time nor the day of the meeting was disclosed. A press release, an official notification, or an alert to broadcasters was not sent outside the gates of the palace. There was a silent gathering that took place in one of the old rooms in Britain. The room was filled with a profound hush that indicated that something significant was about to take place. King Charles made a request for the presence of a select group, which included senior members of the royal family, experienced constitutional advisors, and palace officials who had served for decades. The fact that this gathering would turn out to be a significant event in the contemporary history of the British monarchy was something that none of them were aware of. It was a quiet arrival for Catherine, with no press cameras present and no prior information given to tabloids. She held herself with the grace and composure that she had become accustomed to, as if she were carrying the weight of many eyes on her every day. The moment King Charles walked into the chamber, the mood underwent a dramatic transformation. After the fact, those who were present described it as a physical sense comparable to the silence that occurs before a rainstorm. Although he appeared to be in good health, even better than some had anticipated, he also appeared to be aware that his time to act was limited. The news that he had been diagnosed with an unidentified kind of cancer was announced by Buckingham Palace on February 5th, 2024. The announcement that his therapy was transitioning into a cautious phase was made by him in December of 2025. His medical team referred to this as a significant milestone. He conveyed this information in a video message that he sent out for the Stand Up to Cancer campaign that was being run by Channel 4. He spoke directly as someone who has been affected by cancer. After that, he paused for a number of extended seconds as he was standing at the head of the room. At that moment, everyone stood still and did not breathe. Following that, he turned around and looked Catherine in the eye. What transpired after that was characterized as a moment of profound significance. The act wasn't merely a formality. Rather, it was an affirmation. A message that was significant to her was being conveyed by him. It was always intended that William would be the one to inherit the throne. But on that particular day, Charles did something different. Furthermore, he was not merely acknowledging succession. Leadership was being acknowledged by him. Specifically, he was demonstrating that Catherine was the most powerful member of the monarchy and the person whom the public would support in the years to come. He made a forward movement. It was through that one action that he conveyed all of the information that the world required to know. Hi viewers, do you respect King Charles for publicly recognizing Princess Catherine as the true emotional leader and most powerful member of the modern monarchy, yes or no? Put yes in the comments if you believe Catherine is the undisputed future of the crown. There are certain rooms that retain the spirits of important occurrences. The room in question was one of those. Although it was only a few seconds long, the event completely altered everything. Following the dissemination of the news through the palace's meticulous communication lines, the response across the entirety of Britain was consistent every place. To begin, there is silence. Following that, a wave of relief flowed over the majority of those who had heard it. The reasons behind King Charles's decision to select Catherine as the leader over everyone else. In order to comprehend the rationale behind King Charles's decision, it is necessary to examine the loss that the monarchy endured at the passing of Queen Elizabeth II on September 8, 2022, at Balmoral Castle, which is located in Scotland. Since she passed away, the monarchy has been looking for something that may perhaps fill the gap that her loss has left behind. For the monarchy, Queen Elizabeth was a number of different things. Stability and institutional expertise were both the benefits she brought. She was the most important person in the kingdom, and the entire institution centered around her. Not only did the world lose a monarch with her passing, but it also lost a reliable point of reference after her passing. Currently, there is an issue that has not been answered regarding who can partially fill her function. In addition to the difficulties that came with it, King Charles inherited this inheritance. On the 6th of May 2023, his coronation took place in Westminster Abbey, and it was a momentous and dramatic occasion. On the other hand, it brought about the beginning of a new period that could not be characterized solely by the coronation events. It was the first time in modern history that a king was confronted with significant health problems immediately after ascending to the throne. In February of 2024, it was ascertained that he was engaged in a fight against cancer. Although he was experiencing health problems, he continued to work. Even though he took a break from his public duties in the early months of 2024 in order to receive treatment, he continued to undertake the necessary work that comes with being king. This is a crucial point to keep in mind. His constitutional duties continued to be carried out, and he signed documents, attended briefings, and participated in other activities. During the year 2025, he attended 535 public engagements, making him the royal who worked the hardest during that particular year. Hard effort, on the other hand, does not provide an answer to the most important question that every monarchy must address. In the future, who will fill the role of monarchy's leader? The legal answer is obvious. Prince William comes after Charles, and then Prince George comes after him. However, the fact of the matter is that the subject of leadership extends beyond legal succession. Compared to most others, Charles was able to perceive this distinction. He had been paying close attention to Catherine. It was during formal events that he observed her sparkle, but it was also during difficult times that he witnessed her resilience. After receiving a diagnosis of cancer in March of 2024, she underwent chemotherapy for a period of many months. It was with elegance that she returned to public life, and she never used her sickness as a means of garnering sympathy or fame. They made their observations known to royal analysts. It was said by Richard Fitzwilliams that Catherine was an essential component of the monarchy as we moved forward into the year 2026. An intimate source within the palace described her as someone who has the qualities necessary to make a seamless transition into her post over the course of her career, having learned from Queen Elizabeth II. Additionally, Catherine had an effect on the culture. The Kate effect refers to the rapidity with which every item that she wears is sold out. Not only does this pertain to retail, but it also illustrates her undeniable effect. Her ability to give royal warrants was a significant power that had not been seen since the time of Queen Mary, and she became the first Princess of Wales to do so in 116 years in the year 2026. All of this was perfectly visible to King Charles. He was well aware of the complexity and difficulties associated with his position. Catherine was already demonstrating leadership qualities, which is why he decided to go with her. In other words, he was approving it. It was never intended for the world to see the preparations that were being made in the palace. The palace was undergoing a series of subtle transformations in the months leading up to the event that was going to take place in the Great Hall. These alterations were not made public reported or apparent to the numerous cameras and reporters who followed the royal family during their journey. This transition, on the other hand, took place in private environments and through conversations. It has always been the practice of the British monarchy to make key choices in a cautious and quiet manner, waiting until they were finished being prepared. It was stated by sources close to the palace that a series of discussions were held between King Charles, Prince William, and a few senior constitutional advisors. The purpose of these discussions, which were held first at Highgrove and then at Buckingham Palace, was not to discuss the planning of medical succession. It was always the palace's policy to keep those matters isolated from one another. In their place, these conversations centered on a topic that was both more subtle and more significant. They focused their attention on the popular perception of the future of the monarchy. Over the course of these discussions, Catherine's name was brought up rather frequently. There was no doubt that she would one day reign as queen. On the other hand, the emphasis was placed on her capacity to give strong and approachable leadership during a period of increased uncertainty. In addition to making preparations for the future, the monarchy was also making preparations for the near future. With great care, the palace kept a close eye on approval ratings. In the years 2024 and 2025, these ratings revealed a complicated narrative. There was a high level of regard for King Charles. Queen Camilla had achieved acceptability, and Prince William was highly trusted. However, Catherine was cherished. A true connection was felt by the general people toward her, which resulted in a loyalty that polls were unable to properly account for. Catherine's participation in public events progressively expanded over time. In particular, her position as Colonel of the Irish Guards, which is a highly prestigious military title, was highlighted. She demonstrated warmth and knowledge of the occasion while leading the regiment's function that took place at Mons Barracks in Aldershot on the occasion of St. Patrick's Day in the year 2026. It was with great care that the royal warrants were handled. Both the news that Catherine would be the first Princess of Wales to grant them in 116 years and the timing of the announcement were both exceptionally carefully thought out. The Times was informed by sources that Catherine desired to encourage the skills and industries of the United Kingdom. In the process of preparing for even more significant obligations that were ahead, she took her responsibilities very seriously, considering them as a legitimate exercise of authority. When it came to the preparation, every single step appeared to be natural, which was a vital ability of the palace, as it made significant decisions appear to be effortless. This, however, was not a simple task. It was William who was involved in every choice that was made, and the advisors to the king gave serious consideration to the constitutional ramifications. What was more important was not whether Catherine would be promoted, but rather how and with what significance she would be elevated. Many people who were not part of this intimate circle were taken aback by the decision that King Charles made for the announcement. In contrast to a conventional statement from a press secretary or a formal announcement that was brought to the attention of the media, he desired for it to have a more personal tone. It would take place in a room, during a gathering, and throughout an act, rather than any other setting. When the time had finally come, everything developed precisely as he had anticipated it would. It is difficult to misunderstand, as it has not been reported or documented. How Catherine's fight against cancer demonstrated that she was indeed destined for the throne. It was on March 22, 2024, that Catherine made a video available to the entire world. A simple striped shirt was all that she was wearing as she sat in a peaceful garden in Windsor. Without using a script, she communicated her news that she had been diagnosed with cancer and was currently having preventive chemotherapy. Her words were clear and honest. The world came to a halt. The manner in which the general public paid attention began to shift in the weeks and months that followed Catherine's decision to withdraw from public life in order to concentrate on her health and the well-being of her 3 children. Over the course of 15 years, she had been the subject of great interest from tabloids, which eventually subsided, however not completely. Indeed, it was observable. Comments became more lenient. Not only did people desire graphics, but they also wanted something more profound. A royal figure who was experiencing a health crisis was not the only thing they were seeing. They were holding their breath, waiting, and fretting for someone they believed they knew. They were holding their breath. The typical attention in her wardrobe choices was not the focus of this conversation. There was something more significant about it. Their relationship developed over the course of several years, during which they witnessed Catherine's courtship, marriage, motherhood, and the difficulties that followed Queen Elizabeth's passing. The people now saw her confronting something that they were familiar with: ailments, anxiety, and the tense waiting that accompany them all come together. In accordance with the palace's policy regarding health updates, which was to only disseminate information when it was deemed to be of significant importance, the particulars of her medical condition were kept confidential. In September of 2024, Catherine finished the prophylactic chemotherapy she had been receiving. Her gradual comeback to public appearances was accompanied by cautious selection of venues for her appearances. She made sure to attend activities that were significant and avoided attending events that may be postponed. Then in January of 2026, she provided confirmation of what were everyone's hopes for. She had entered a state of remission. Just 2 words there. After hearing the news, people all around the United Kingdom and beyond felt a sense of relief. The public's perception of Catherine shifted as a result of her battle with illness and subsequent path to recovery. Following her health issue, the princess emerged as more human and powerful than she had been before. She was sometimes perceived as being overly polished and controlled. Her family remained close to her. Her marriage remained strong, and her sense of responsibility remained intact, despite the fact that she faced challenges that no royal upbringing could have adequately prepared her for. Her dedication to helping others and her compassion for them never wavered after she made it. She also established a powerful emotional connection with the general population, even though she had no intention of doing so. In contrast to the relationship that the monarchy had been experiencing since Diana, this one was unique. A common sense of vulnerability and the will to survive served as the foundation for it. Countless individuals witnessed her departure and subsequent return, recognizing her as a person who had been put through adversity and emerged more resilient. The entire event was witnessed by King Charles. He was familiar with disease because he had undergone treatment for his own cancer at the same time that Catherine was. At the same time, he acknowledged the significance of the relationship between the public and the monarchy. Additionally, he was aware that true strength is equal parts fragility. The strength was demonstrated by Catherine. She never lacked for it. Following everything that she had to go via it was indisputable. There was no way that anyone could dismiss it as merely a matter of smart image management or giving credit to stylists and press teams on their part. What she demonstrated was accurate. And the real is the only thing that endures. It was the constitutional power shift that left every single member of Parliament gasping for air. In comparison to the constitutions of the majority of major democratic nations, the British Constitution is distinct. A single written document does not include any evidence of it. Instead, the Constitution of the United Kingdom is composed of laws, previous judicial decisions, customs, and a profound understanding that has been developed over the course of several centuries. This gives it a great deal of flexibility, enabling those who are familiar with it to modify it without causing the law to be altered. This constitution is something that King Charles has a profound awareness of. It is not true that any laws were altered as a result of his recent ceremony to boost Catherine's position. The line of succession was not impacted in any way by this. William continues to be the heir, and Prince George continues to be the second-place contender. Nothing changed with regard to the legal framework. However, there was a change that was less official, but might potentially be more long-lasting. Instead of exercising legal control over Parliament, the monarchy in Britain derives its genuine power from the fact that it is highly visible and present in the country. It is necessary for people to have a regal figure to represent their identity. This was an area in which Queen Elizabeth excelled, utilizing her symbolic presence as a constitutional queen in an effective manner. It was not because she controlled Parliament that she was powerful. Rather, she was powerful because she possessed a position that was unique and that Parliament could not equal. In order to place Catherine as the genuine leader of the kingdom today, rather than simply as the future Queen of the Crown, King Charles undertook a constitutional move that was very subtle. He did not alter the legislation in any way. In the eyes of the public, he succeeded. The emotional support that people received from him was directed in a direction that will be difficult to alter. The attitude of Parliament was characteristic of the British government. It was reserved in public, but of major importance behind the scenes. All political figures, regardless of their party affiliation, have issued remarks that acknowledge Catherine's significance to the monarchy, both in the present and in the future. The idea that elevating Catherine was a good move for the institution and something the country needed was nearly universally accepted, despite the fact that agreement is exceedingly uncommon in the current context. While speaking on the condition of anonymity, a senior government official referred to the current situation as a necessary and timely modernization of the monarchy. Catherine is especially equipped for the role of bringing people together, according to another political observer, who pointed out that the strength of the monarchy lay in its ability to bring people together in a time when there is division and suspicion. While people were outside of Westminster, they investigated the constitutional issues with the concentrated interest that the British public has for matters pertaining to the sovereign. Some people believe that Charles's unofficial action made it more powerful. By omitting formal statements, he demonstrated a level of urgency and directness that was unattainable through the use of protocol. People associated with the personal side of the situation, a quiet room, a small gathering, and a crown that is positioned differently are set against the backdrop of a king who is battling an illness and a daughter-in-law who is returning from her own. These kinds of events are frequently where history is written. They are typically not accurately recorded in official documents until several years after the fact. On the other hand, there are instances when a moment is so momentous that individuals are aware of its significance as it occurs. The moment in question was one of those. The reaction was the same across the entirety of Britain, from the newspapers to the tabloids, from constitutional specialists to people who witnessed Catherine's transformation from a student to a princess. This was not merely a crown that King Charles placed. Without a doubt, he altered the game forever. In what way does the final public act of King Charles genuinely affect the destiny of Britain? Every monarch will at some point be confronted with a fundamental question that every king and queen has posed in the past. So what did you construct? The question of who will succeed them is irrelevant, because that is something that is decided by law and birth. They are concerned with the legacy that they leave behind. King Charles III has not yet provided a comprehensive response to this inquiry. He continues to sit on the throne, carry out his formal responsibilities, and meet with other heads of state who are in town. The medical therapy he was receiving transitioned into a precautionary phase near the end of the year 2125. As he moves into the year 2026, he continues to keep a full schedule. This demonstrates his conviction that he will not allow illness to determine the course of his reign before he gets the opportunity to create it himself. In a video message that was made in December 2025 for the Stand Up to Cancer campaign and shown across the country, he emphasized the importance of early diagnosis in saving lives. He referred to his course of treatment being reduced as both a personal blessing and a demonstration of the great advancements that have been made in cancer treatment. These statements give the impression that he is not getting ready to take a step back. On the contrary, he is aware that he still possesses time authority and a platform with which to work. The nature of his relationship with Catherine sheds light on the things he wishes to leave behind. Constitutional issues are not relevant to this discussion. That narrative has already been told. It all comes down to the people's perception of what the monarchy stands for. This conviction that the monarchy still counts and serves a purpose is essential to the monarchy's survival. Catherine is a representation of a contemporary royalty that people can have faith in. It is not the case that she presents herself as flawless or unapproachable. It was because of her struggle with illness that everyone recognized her as a human being. At the same time that she was subjected to severe scrutiny, she went back to her job with a clear sense of purpose. A young girl named Adrienne, who was 10 years old at the time, approached her at the Evelina London Children's Hospital in the beginning of the year 2026 and inquired as to whether or not she was the Queen. Catherine paused, smiled, and responded in a way that was sympathetic and human. That easy moment, which was extensively disseminated over the internet, said more about her than any title could have. When the time comes, William will ascend to the throne, and George will succeed him. As it has for more than 1,000 years, the monarchy continues to exist, despite the obstacles and changes that it has faced. On the other hand, the existence of a line of succession alone is not sufficient to maintain the monarchy. There is a relevance to it. It is essential that people all around the country have the sense that this organization is theirs alone. He made a decision that will have a significant impact on his legacy. He chose the individual whom he believed had the potential to carry that belief out into the future, not the one who had to accept it as a matter of course, but the one who has already been living the answer to the question that the monarchy has been asking for forever. Catherine was named by him. As if a nation had finally let out a sigh of relief, the people of Britain realized this in a quiet and complete manner. The final significant act that a monarch performs is carried out in this manner. He gives the responsibility to someone who is capable of carrying it forward. When King Charles gazed at Catherine, he saw not just the future of the monarchy, but also the future of whether or not the people will continue to believe in it. Viewers, if you agree that King Charles's greatest legacy won't be the laws he passed, but his brilliant decision to entrust the future relevance of the monarchy to Princess Catherine, put yes in the comments. Like this video, share it, and subscribe right now. Stay tuned if you found that this story struck a chord with you. This monarchy, together with Catherine and William, have a great deal more to look forward to. We are already at the beginning of the next chapter.